Welcome your hosts, Caddy Frank and Erin Fitzgerald, as they lead discussions about substance use disorder and the journey to recovery. You're listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Well, good day, good day, good day. Here we are.
Here we are.
Erin and I are at the mic again. Microphone, whatever we are. Mm-hmm. We're doing it.
We're here.
Yeah. Welcome to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Mm-hmm.
It is a thing. I'm so excited to be here with you. It's been a little while.
It has been.
It's so exciting.
We're going to roll today.
Yeah, baby. Thank you for joining our show. Erin is going to read some thanks to some folks.
You betcha. Special thank you to our generous funders, including the Patrick and Amy Butler Family Foundation, Otto Bremer Trust, the Sauer Family Foundation, the Hardenberg Foundation, and alongside you, our fellows out in the community. Thank you for your donations.
Yeah, and, we're going to talk about this later, but the Walk for Recovery is coming up, and I'm hearing that there's some stuff coming in that's going to help us out.
Yay.
Yeah. So, Erin.
Yes.
What is right with you today?
Oh, I forgot. What is right with me today? I'm grateful that I have a license and a vehicle and insurance, and I can drive across a couple of states to see my daughter tomorrow. Or coming up here soon, yeah.
Oh, how exciting. Yeah. Oh, get to see the kiddo.
Yeah. I never didn't have a license, but I didn't have a car for a long time.
Yeah, well, I didn't have any of it for a long time.
Many of us. Many of us went
there
without.
There pieces of the puzzle that might have been missing from here and there and everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So how about you, Miss Caddy? What's right with you?
Today is a good day. I was playing with my cats today, and I have a new little one, and he is growing. All of a sudden, he was popping around on the bed while we were doing cat toy things, and I'm like, what the hell? You just grew again. What is this?
He's not your little kid,
No, he's getting to be a guy. He's going to be a thing. And he can hardly wait till things happen when that surgical appointments, because his energy maybe goes down a little bit.
Do the other cats like him now?
Yes, for the most part.
Yes, question mark.
The big black one, Morky, he's all over it for the most part. And then Tigger, my girl, she's like... still gets annoyed. Yeah. Seriously gets annoyed on occasion.
That's all right.
So it's okay. Well, here we are. We are talking about a couple of different things. And what I want to kind of walk into is one of the things that happened today, even though this show will air in a little bit, was a Care 11 and probably other news outlets talking about an organization that got, what did they do?
Raided by
the FBI, yes. And I'll just leave their name out of it because I don't want to, I don't know what the circumstances are. But when you get raided by the FBI, there's usually something behind it. But this has happened, not this actual event, but there's been some
similar negative things.
Yeah, negative stuff around the recovery community. And I think I want to come out of the gate saying that there are a lot of businesses that have troubles.
In many industries, yes.
In many industries, exactly. That's what Erin and I were talking about ahead of time. And it's like, let's just make sure that we don't throw a blanket all over the recovery community saying, oh, they're all bad, or they all are doing things that they shouldn't. Because that's not true, because there are hundreds in the state of Minnesota. We are the land of 10,000 lakes, as well as 10,000 treatment centers. That's sort of the joke. Yeah. And so it's just important for us, even for us, to remember that are inside the industry, that if something bad happens, we have to take a look at the facts. We have to take a look at the situation. People sometimes don't know what they're doing, or they do, and it's a bad idea.
But just recognize that that doesn't necessarily pertain to all in that category.
Right.
Yeah. That's really important.
And I think the other thing to keep in mind is if something like this happens, there are hundreds of people affected by it.
Absolutely. The clients, employees, all sorts of family members, and
different layers. So when we think about it, when an organization, whatever it is in whatever industry, has a federal raid, there's a lot of casualties in the situation. There's a lot of collateral damage. That's what I was looking for. I was trying to be real smart there, and it didn't come out right away.
There you go.
So,
but that brings us to like building trust and what peer services really truly are, so that we can just let y'all know in the public what the services mean to us and how they are supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and if you are an individual that might have gotten caught in the fray of all this, there are many recovery organizations in the Twin Cities. There's our organization, Minnesota Recovery Connection. We just want you to know we're extending our hand to take care of you in whatever ways that we can. And I think that goes for anybody's family member that might have been impacted by this. You know, there's a lot of help out there. So we just want to make sure that, because recovery already has a ton of stigma around it. People that struggle with substance use disorder, struggle with drug addiction, struggle with substance abuse, and I'm using all the language I hate to use. But when people struggle, the most important thing is to remember that it is a struggle, and how do we, in our world, we meet people where they're at. So it's just important. And Erin was super fantastic today. Actually the other day, and she's looking at me like, "What are you talking about, Caddy?" I know I'm fantastic. Thank you very much. She's giving me a funny look now. She brought up the guiding principles of the recovery community, and that's what we're going to step into. We want to talk about the recovery community, and we've also kind of batted around when we talk about recovery. There are times when people who are outside our families and outside our industry, we use a lot of internal dialogue. And Erin, tell the folks that are listening about what you just encountered upstairs.
Sure. Just upstairs, I walked into the radio station, and I was having a conversation with Laura, who works here, and it turned out that I said something about normies, so that the normies I wanted to have a conversation with a normie so that we can get just some, what am I trying to say here?
Basic understanding
of the words and the words that we use, the language that we have. And I used the word normie, and she looked at me like deer in headlights. I said, normie. What'd you say? Normie. I said, well, you don't know that word. That's our language in the recovery world. You don't know that we call you normies.
Right. And she's like, so what's a normie?
Yeah.
Somebody who doesn't struggle with a substance use disorder.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this all sort of propagated from a conversation I was having with my guy. We were driving back from something we did, and we were listening to the show, coincidentally, in the car. And he's like, sometimes us normies, because he's a normie, bless his heart, he's like, sometimes we don't know what you're talking about. So I think we came up with an idea to bring somebody who is from the outside of our community and maybe, I don't know, toss some language at them and have them look at us like deer in the headlights and go, what are you talking about?
That'll be fun.
And just help educate people. Boy, that laugh I just did was kind of scary. It sounded like a clown. It's funny when you hear yourself, folks. You're hearing me right now. I'll just quit talking to myself while I'm talking to you. That's the wonder of radio. So we're gonna kind of try to do some integrating of the worlds that are out there. Right now you might be hearing a newscast about what happened in the recovery community of a place that got raided. So, oh my gosh, those recovery people, they don't know what they're doing. Well, yeah, they do. But sometimes people are misguided. They don't know what they don't know, or they just had bad business practice. So,
and also this is fairly new, so there are people that don't really know, like somebody that's working as a CPRS might not actually know all of the rules and regulations, right? And that's kind of on the employee or the employer, to make sure that those are in place. But it is fairly new, and so we're just learning as we go.
Yeah. Well, and I think I've said that many a times, at least when I teach the classes that I teach, that this industry is really only a few years old, and the jobs are really only 2 3 years old of all the different practices that we can do. So if an organization messes it up, let's figure out where we go from there. That's so when we come back, we are going to talk about the principles of peer recovery services. So thank you. Redefining Recovery Revolution.
the store begging for your change. The hair on his face is dirty, dreadlocked in for the main.
Welcome back. We are redefining recovery. It is a recovery revolution.
Ain't it true?
It so is, yes. So let's do that. Let's start redefining recovery and start with some principles of recovery, of peer services.
Yeah. And this comes from Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration, from SAMHSA in our world. We're going to try to really define things for you, thinking that you know what SAMHSA means. It's like even my students in class go, huh? What's that?
Yes.
And I'm like, well, it's the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration, which is a federal organization that helps define what we do. And as we were saying before, this is a position that when I came in 2016, they trained it. There wasn't any jobs. It was like this beautiful dream. Let's have these wonderful humans that know what to do because we did it. But what the heck did we do?
Yeah, and how do we do it in a proper way?
Yeah, so Erin and I will just kind of pop back and forth, but we're going to read off of a list of about 10 different things and maybe elaborate on some of them and what we see. And the first one, recovery emerges from hope. Wow, that's such a powerful word. Belief in the process and reality of recovery is vital for the struggling individual to face and cope their disease or disorder.
Yes. That's why being connected to a peer recovery specialist is important. You get to see the hope sitting right in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, and how much I hope and wish and love to see Erin each day, because she gives me hope about what our world is doing and all the different things and all the staff that we have. But I also had the honor of being on a class last week, and Erin took some of the days, and other people did too. And I had, 10, what do we have, 10 or 11?
10 people, yeah.
10 people. And they just look at us with these little doe eyes like, oh, wow, there's so much opportunity out there, right?
Yes, and then their eyes start opening more and more just within that week. Like, where do I want to go with this?
Yeah.
What do I want to do?
Yeah. One of the individuals came in and volunteered this morning. She knows who she is if she listens to the show. I won't name her by name. And she's like, hey, Caddy, I got a couple questions. And I was like, what? She's like, how do I do this and how do I do that? And I'm like, well, here's some ideas. And what I saw was what you just said, Erin, is that her eyes just got bigger, like, oh, yeah, that'll help. You know, because communicating to people that are struggling or people that are really, like, anxious about this substance issue. In her case, she was listening to somebody who was in her in an organization that she partakes in, and they were talking about somebody else, a family member. She's like, it was just so much to take in. And I'm like, then just slow it down.
Yeah.
And then let them know that you're listening. And that's where that hope comes in. That, like, you maybe got something I need, lady. You know? And that's where we get to do the dreaming about this work that we get to do.
And dreaming about recovery.
Yeah.
Of my own.
All day long. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next principle is recovery is person-driven, which means if I'm the person in recovering, I get to guide myself. I get to drive the bus. Each person is ultimately in charge of their own recovery, setting goals and creating a plan to achieve them. So instead of having somebody tell me what to do, maybe I get ideas or they ask me questions and I get to decide what my recovery is going to look like.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to go to meetings. Maybe I want to go kayaking.
Who knew?
I have options.
Yes. Well, and I think we've said before, and that is a lot of times when somebody is lost in their substance use, their choices are taken away because it's consumed by one thing. I was on a very interesting phone call this morning talking to the Latina community about peer recovery services, and we were talking about how in the work that we do, we want to empower and give the opportunity for the human to find their solution. It's driven by that person. And this was a group of counselors and therapy-oriented clinical people. And I'm sure their little brains kind of went, ee, I'm supposed to tell him what to do.
Right.
You know, and it's like, you can in your role, but our role, wow.
I think that's why we have seen like an influx in LADCs kind of coming to our side of the world, though. They appreciate that more.
Yeah. Or exactly. I mean, one of the students last week, the young woman I was mentioning at our front desk today, she took the class, and now she's going to go to school to be an LADC. And I'm like, oh, you did that in the perfect order. Yeah, you know, help people figure out who they are, and then we get to figure out what's the next steps for them. And then if you get that licensed drug and alcohol certification, you get to take it to the next level.
Right.
You know, that's the beautiful part.
Yes.
The next one is recovery occurs via many pathways, and kayaking or meetings, just like Erin said. You know, people recover from substance use disorder and mental health issues because mental health is also part of our family of issues. You know, we never want to just sort of think, it's just all substance use disorder. Mental health and co-occurring issues with substances, they are just, sadly, and reality is they're kind of a little happy duo. They just sort of dance around one another. Who knows who's going to take the lead, but somebody is sometimes. When we look at that, people from different backgrounds have different challenges, and what they want to do for their pathway in recovery is really their own journey.
Yeah, I just like to say that we all got here a different way. We're all going to need to get out a different way.
Yeah. And that's so true. Every story, we always talk about the theme of the work that we do is because we're people in recovery, but literally how we got here is an entirely different story from the next human.
Yeah, every journey is different. So.
Yeah. So it goes to show.
Number 4 says recovery is holistic. In order for long-term recovery to take root, a person must address every aspect of their life, from mental and physical health to income and housing, to seeking support and maintaining medication if needed. And that's where we talk about like those 8 dimensions of wellness. Where are we doing well, and where would we like to focus on being better? Because it's not just taking away that substance. Can't say it enough. I'm not recovering from just the substance. I'm recovering from life.
Yeah. And what is the barrier that's getting in the way?
Yeah.
And that's that real, you know, when you look at it from a holistic approach or from the 8 dimensions of wellness, I mean, the fact is that, as you said beautifully, and that is, I got to stop using the alcohol that was in my system, but I got to figure out what brought me to using the alcohol. There's so many different things that I struggled with that all have to be sort of, it's like the onion, you peel away the obvious from the outside, take away the alcohol, but then you open up that internal space, a little smelly, a little unpleasant. There's so many layers to it, right? I mean, it's just, there's so many layers to it. Some people it might not be as complex, but if we think about the reality is that it takes a while to find maybe what brought you to the place that you needed to escape from.
Yeah.
Number 5, recovery is supported by peers and allies. Having peers that have experienced similar challenges and come through it provide a model for those in recovery and can offer to refer to and receive support from. So it's, I can help Erin and Erin can help me. But the other thing is that allies, I mean, most of us would not be here without allies. And we've had a discussion earlier about allies in our field, and I think there's some room for discussion around it. But those people that supported us,
they lived through it with us, right? They were affected by it. They saw us, what worked for us, what didn't work for us. Maybe they had their own trials and tribulations as well, right? Yeah. They watched us suffer and tried to help as best they could.
And they are part of this whole process of recovery.
Right. And my allies are learning with me.
Yes.
As I grow. Right? Like, this is actually what would have been beneficial. This is what is beneficial now. And this is how you can trust me now, too. Ally.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point because they are learning alongside us. So those who are, I'm going to put air quotes, normies, they think just take away and it will get better. But then if you put many different things into just take away the gambling, the shopping, the food, they're still there.
Yeah, there's stuff still to unpack.
Yeah. So those people that are alongside us, they get to sort of see us maybe melt down a couple of times. And then some days they get to see us really pick ourselves up and go, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
Almost said a bad word there, but I didn't.
We always almost say bad words.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good growing experience with my personal allies in that just beyond recovery stuff, just being able to open up and say, man, you're a safe space I can say anything to. It doesn't have to be just about this. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many more discussions about people coming into the space of not using their substances. There's so many other subjects that are going on and so many different conversations. It's just not about that substance. It's about, having good, constructive, helpful conversations with people. Yeah, it's an amazing thing.
I just want to point out that that's pretty important because we need that lived experience to be a certified peer recovery specialist, right? Whereas like an LADC, a licensed drug and alcohol counselor, you don't need lived experience.
Right.
You can just want to be a counselor in that field, right? And so you can't necessarily relate with the people.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to have that lived experience.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for reiterating that. Next one.
Recovery is supported through relationships and social networks. Hoorah! That's for sure. An emotional bond with family members, friends, and peers that believe in a person's ability to recover can offer the strength and determination to get through difficult times. For sure. Connection.
Yeah, and, it talks here about families and friends, but it's also the recovery community, too, the greater community. Makes me think about this organization that had a very bad day today. All those people have lost part of their community there. And so we want to lift those people up if they need it and walk alongside them because that's got to be a scary situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So recovery is culturally based and influenced. Services for recovery must consider individuals' unique cultural beliefs, values, and traditions. I can't even, there's so much that's there, and we'll have another show dedicated to that. But one of the things that we just have to remember is that everybody's got a different culture around them. And I'm not just talking about skin color or language. It's everything is culture, folks. Where you grew up. The recovery community is a culture. People who belong to religious groups, that's a culture. All the different religious groups.
Cultures within the cultures.
Cultures within the cultures. We talk about those who are incarcerated that we do a lot of work with. That's a culture within a culture, kind of within a culture on top of it. They've got all kinds of things. And, food is culture and clothing is culture. It's everywhere. So when we see a human in peer recovery service, it's like, what do I need to know about you that will help you with your recovery journey?
Absolutely.
Let's unpack that a little bit because I don't want to assume anything. Because what does assume mean, Erin?
Oh, you make an A out of you and me.
Yeah. So
I don't know if I could say that.
I know. Let's say ASS in there. So it's sort of in the name assume. So just kind of roll with that one, folks. It's kind of like the funny part when we do the training because people are like, don't want to do that. So,
Yeah, because I can make assumptions all day long, not necessarily judgments, but just like assumptions.
Absolutely.
They're not like harmful or anything.
No, but it's kind of simple sometimes.
Yeah, and it might be uncomfortable to ask people questions, but how else are you going to know? They're not just going to reveal what you want by you looking at them. Nope. You actually have to ask them the questions, even if it's difficult.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people who might have different perspectives, might have different cultures they come from, might look different, they appreciate when somebody says, hey, this might help me with you if I were to ask this question. So I'm going to ask you, is this, what about? And they're like, most people don't ask, they just assume. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that because that's not fair to you. And then I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
All right. Next one here. Recovery is supported by addressing trauma. Yes, sexual assault, domestic violence, emotional abuse, and any other trauma has to be treated if recovery is going to be long-lasting and successful. And I would say that is totally true. And there's a term for folks that I think don't address kind of like their mental health. I think that's like a dry drunk, right? Somebody that just takes the substance away, but they don't
deal with anything
else. Yeah.
Yeah. When people have trauma, we've all sort of concluded working in this community that at the end of the day, there's usually sometimes big T, we call big trauma, or little T, little trauma. And those are things that are not our job to address as peer recovery specialists, but they are things that we can probably really easily recognize that even a family member might not even be able to recognize because there would be potentially some lived experience or just that I see you in a different way.
Yeah, and whether they want to share and unload that information or maybe they just say, yeah, there is something and maybe I could get a referral from you.
Yeah. And that's what we do. We don't try to fix anybody. We don't have. I say it all the time. We don't have the right to fix anybody, even though it's really hard sometimes. With the people that we really, really love, or the people that we really, really see that thing coming their way. But it's like, are you aware that thing is coming your way?
Yeah.
Would you like me to point that out to you?
And
I'm telling you what to do about it.
Yeah. I'll gladly point it out.
Yeah, because we don't, the thing is that sometimes people can re-traumatize themselves in their recovery journey because they feel like they can just kind of like bulldoze through things. And when in fact, whoa, wait a minute, you got to come back.
That happened to me the first time I came out of treatment.
Tell me more.
Well, I thought that I was all good to go, man, 28 days and I was all sobered up.
Fixed.
And I was fixed. I had all the information. I knew what I had to do next. And so what did I do? Everything. I did all the things. And then I burnt myself out real quick.
Yep. And then what happened?
Gave myself a reuse.
A
reuse, otherwise known as a relapse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see it happen where people just get on fire and excited.
I can do this.
Yeah.
But I didn't have people. I didn't have support. I didn't have somebody walking alongside me to help guide me and say, hey, slow down, sister.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Let's just stay good for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, just be okay. Okay is great. Don't even have to be good. Just be okay. Yeah.
And slowly get better.
Yeah. And work towards those things because just in life, like if you've gotten a job or you've gotten a partner and it takes time to develop all those different facets of that. Recovery is the same darn tootin' thing. It doesn't just happen in 28 days.
That's true.
Or even 60 days or 90 days. It takes a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, super important. Recovery involves individual, families, and community strengths and responsibility. Totally. There's where that community comes in. Each person in recovery is responsible for their own care through families and significant others also bear the responsibility, especially with recovering teens and young people, to support their loved ones. I think I read something wrong there, but we'll figure that one out. Though, yes. Communities also have a responsibility to take care of those in recovery. In recovery can live free and of discrimination and have opportunities to have housing, employment, and education. Can you all see where my dyslexia came in there?
I was just going to say thank you for doing this on air, Caddy, because that's got to be a little bit
because if anybody ever struggles with a disability, whether it be invisible or visible, mine is invisible, so when I start reading, all of a sudden I'm like, what just came out of my mouth?
I was like, that's a wordy one. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, what am I doing that one for? But the essence of this is that recovery involves a lot of people around us, and that's one of the main things that Minnesota Recovery Connection tries to do with our peer recovery services is build that recovery community around people. And it can be family, it can be friends, it can be partners, but it's also our community. Sometimes we can be the best influence on people to say, you're okay.
Yeah, when you see somebody in the community, too, that looks like they're struggling, and you can just be kind to them. That might be good enough.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry. I was just going to say it's also important to remember, when individuals recover, that helps families recover.
Yes.
That helps communities recover. So it's all connected.
Yeah.
Right? We need all of those things to recover, and as we recover, those things will recover with us.
Yeah. And I think sometimes that gets lost in translation. It's like, oh, if my person stops using whatever chemical got them to the place that they are, if they stop, then it's all done.
Mm-hmm.
And what has happened is there's been an impact in in most cases with others. And so everybody has to find that space where they can have those open conversations, begin to hope again, begin, as you said, begin to trust again, begin to just feel like there is something better in front of us. Mm-hmm. And it's not just getting rid of that thing. It's rebuilding and finding that wholeness again. But it takes a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Still working on it.
Yep.
All right. Recovery is based on respect, mutual respect. Recovering from addiction and psychiatric issues requires bravery on the part of the individual. Communities and social systems that acknowledge this lesson, the stigma associated with these disorders, and offer people a healthier atmosphere for which they can get better and give back. I like where it says requires bravery of the individual. Mm. It is a brave thing to come and say, hey, y'all, I need help. Mm-hmm. And I want it.
And I'm admitting it. Mm-hmm. You know, that I think you're absolutely right. That bravery part is there. And I like that idea that we can also give back, because many of us have taken in one way, shape, or form from any number of scenarios, workplaces even, obviously families, partners, relationships. We've had an effect on folks. And when we can give back and we can say, I'm sorry, and I'm going to do the best I can.
Yeah, I'm going to do better.
Yeah, I'm going to do better. And I need you along on my ride. Mm-hmm. Can you come with me, please? Mm-hmm. Because I can do this, but I can't do it alone. Mm-hmm. And if there's any essence to Pure Recovery Services, is that we know we need to have the support around us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we, as a Pure Recovery specialist, when I'm working with somebody, when it says we're basing that on respect, it's like, that's where there's no hierarchy, basically, is what that's saying, right? Like, we're the same, we are equal. I'm just working with you because I love working with people.
Yeah.
I want to help you get better. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I might be the one with the CPRS on my name, but that all that means is that I just got a little bit more knowledge, but boy, do I want to share it with you. That's where we get to help. We walk alongside. We share our resources. We just literally give back.
And watch people grow, and then they get to do it on their own.
Yeah. And you know, the ultimate goal, everybody, is that we don't want to hang on to people forever and ever and ever. We want them to gain all these skills and this ability and these choices back and make great decisions. But then if something happens, we still can be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, kind of the magic. There was somebody who came into the office last week, and he was hurting pretty bad. And he's like, boy, I almost want to just go back. And I said, oh, you've done so much work. What can we do? We're right here. You're sitting at our front desk volunteering. Great first move. You came to a safe space. But what can we do? Because I saw that defeatedness, because he had a lot of stuff to take care of. And when you have made a tough road behind you and you got to pick up the pieces and you got to put things back together, some days it doesn't feel like it's worth it.
Yeah. Some days are real heavy.
Yeah.
Lots of things that we have to try and break through and put back together. And
it's
interesting. That.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. And then sometimes we have to make big decisions.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
And another thing that we can ask in that moment, too, is, you know, why would you want to go back? What would that do? How would that benefit you? And just let them
ponder.
Let them ponder on that.
Yeah. We call that, in some of our inside talk, is playing back the tape.
Yeah, playing tape forward.
Yeah. And when you hear that tape rolling through your head, if you've been through some stuff, you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me just push, stop. because I don't need to know anymore because I know how this one ends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't need to test it again.
Yeah, no. But sometimes it feels more comfortable because, as we've said before, when we use our substances, they're a friend we can always rely on.
Absolutely. It's doing something
they don't
for
disappoint us. So we're going to take a break here and come back, and we'll kind of put a fine, pretty little bow on these 10 principles of peer recovery services and what it looks like. So thank you for listening to Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. It is.
And this house needs love in it, 'cause without it there's no home. And there's one thing that I've learned through this year of being alone.
If you are ever to see us, as you can on the webcam, hi. We always come in sort of moving and grooving to this song. And who is this, Erin?
Sunset.
Sunset. And where will they be, Erin?
At the Walk for Recovery.
And when is that, Erin?
September 21st.
From what time to what time?
10 to 3.
Wow.
At the state capitol.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So thank you. We have to get a little weird on occasion because that just keeps it fun.
We have to.
So we just talked about a bunch of stuff around peer recovery services. And again, if anybody's ever interested in educating themselves about these things, SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration, is where a lot of stuff is. And you could just put in peer recovery services and you could learn a whole lot. Now, I learned something from Chris Kelly way back in the day.
Tell me.
And you're so cute. Substance abuse and mental health services. Now, we hate that word abuse, but because it's a federal program and a federal administrative thing, it takes a work of Congress to change that word.
What a shame.
So we're kind of stuck with it.
Boo.
Boo-hoo. But what we do know is everything that they write about has predominantly the language that we want.
Yeah, they do a really good job. I think Minnesota Department of Health has some really good information, too.
Yes, as well. Yeah, thank you. I just kind of given some props to SAMHSA.
Oh, no, for sure. 100%.
Yeah, got to give SAMHSA some props.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll give us some money.
Is that a thing? SAMHSA.
SAMHSA. Okay, folks, we're getting a little weird here on the old Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution. Gosh. So we just put together like a whole picture. Ooh, wow, that was sharp on the microphone there. Put together a good picture of what it is that we do for peer recovery services. And kind of going back to the conversation I was having with this organization that is serving the Latina community, we kind of concluded our conversation. And it was sort of the people that put together the conversation. And this woman named Liz said, man, I wish I would have had this for my family members, all of them who were struggling back in the day. When I hear you guys talk, it is so needed, but it was so long ago. And I said, you're exactly right, Liz. That's why we're here. You know, talking particularly to a particular cultural community with so many different spaces that they live and breathe and eat and sleep and work and all that stuff. We need to bring recovery to everybody. Yes.
Yes, there was a woman in our class last week that said, too, 35 years ago when I found recovery, it would have been a whole lot different, a lot less struggles.
Yeah. That was a powerful moment when she said that. And we hear that a lot, and that's why we continue to have these conversations. We know that when we can talk about recovery and try to do it in a language that people can understand, they may not get it, but at least they're willing to listen. And maybe you've not even listened to the whole time that we're on the air, but it's like, wow, these two chicks, they keep talking about this stuff. I just keep tuning in. Maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. But just know that we're here because we want people to get better.
Yeah, and we totally appreciate all the listeners out there. I mean, if you are retaining the information, that is one thing. If you are sharing the information, even better. We just are ecstatic about, people that have been in recovery for 35 years are just learning the information.
Yeah.
Right? So we can't expect that, again, air quotes, the normies of the world, that's all of you folks out there who have never suffered from substance use disorder, normies of the world don't understand what we're talking about and how we get better. Because we didn't know how to get better for the longest time. We're still figuring it all out.
Yeah.
And so these services that just started several years ago are fantastic. Yeah.
It's another layer in the whole process. I was talking to a woman this morning. I had a lot of talks this morning, I guess, is what it sounds like. But I was talking to somebody, and she said, recovery is kind of like a remodel. And she was somebody who's really into remodeling things and really gets a joy out of that. Well, I lit up like a Christmas tree, you know that, because I love just like to change things, to do things. And when we were talking about it, it was like, wow, yeah. And remodeling takes a while. It takes some tools. Takes some tricks.
Takes some pondering.
Some decision making. And I thought, what a great analogy. So if anybody's thinking out who's a normie out there, recovery is like remodeling a kitchen, like remodeling a bathroom. It takes a while. And you're never quite done.
Not quite satisfied yet, are you?
Yeah. It's like, do I need the new knobs or do I not need the new knobs? Do I need the wallpaper? Do I not need the wallpaper? So Erin has got a list of amazing events that are coming up, and she's going to share a few of them with you. We thought, let's educate the entire community, all people, every size and space. So, Erin, what do you got for us?
For sure. So one that is just like everybody knows about, National Night Out.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of recovery ones that are, like Frogtown Cafe is hosting one. But what a great way just to get into your community. I think it's on August 2nd this year, right? Just get out there in your community. Maybe you'll meet somebody and have a conversation and learn that they're in recovery. And then you can say, I'm learning stuff about that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, or just get to know your neighbor. We got isolated for a long time. And sometimes it's hard for me to even go out and talk to my neighbors, and I know a lot of them. But yeah, National Night is a thing.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just going to talk about two other ones that are coming up in August. National Overdose Awareness Day is August 31st this year. It's a Saturday. And Minnesota Overdose Awareness has done an annual event. It used to be a candlelight vigil, and they're switching things up this year where we are combining with them. We're collaborating with some other community partners. And we're
being Minnesota Recovery Connection.
Yes. So Minnesota Recovery Connection and the PAC, which is the Peer Advisory Council.
Which is a little arm off of Minnesota Recovery Connection reaching out into the community.
Yes. Minnesota Overdose Awareness, Anything Helps, Steve Remler Hope Network, collaborating together and potentially other community partners as well to put on a gigantic free garage sale for people in the community. It could be people that live in the neighborhood, people, if you are a peer recovery specialist and you have folks that are in need that you're working with, your neighbors, anybody can come. There's going to be just a boatload of free items. We're going to have some food, some activities, music, and there's going to be like Narcan and naloxone, and you can even get some education, take some home with you, so you can always have it on you. Maybe you don't know where to get some. There's where you go. So that's going to actually be at Minnesota Overdose Awareness at their Northside Hub on Fremont Avenue. And, of course, I don't have that address with me.
3938 Fremont Avenue North.
Thank you.
And I just want to toss out, so here's what we do. We say Narcan and naloxone, and people are like, what's that? If they don't know, this is an overdose prevention medication that can be given to somebody who might have struggled with an overdose. So we're just going to continue to educate folks and make sure that if you are not somebody who understands our language, you're gonna.
Yeah, for sure. And then so prior to that, though, so we have a lot of donations, which is great, but we could use more. So monetary donations right on our website will go directly to that if you would like to make a donation. Also on the 17th of August, it's a Saturday from 10 to 2 at that same location, 3938 Fremont Avenue. It's going to be a donation day, so you can bring items that are new or very gently used. We do not want trash. No electronics, but, shoes especially. But household items, it can be anything.
Yeah.
So just a way that we can help support people in our community who really just are without or could just have something.
Or just in need of something.
Yeah.
It might just be the day where you find, there's that dish rack I've been wanting to replace.
Yep, there you go.
Look at there. Because we want to support the community that supports this organization,
Absolutely.
too. We want to bring people together and say, you know what, it's okay to have a place that works with people that struggle with drug addiction and substance use disorder. So join us in supporting all our missions and becoming a monthly or annual donor at any level that works for you, or by volunteering at Minnesota Recovery Connection. Your engagement helps sustain our efforts in fostering a recovery and resiliency. Visit minnesotarecovery.org and click Donate or volunteer. Thank you. Redefining Recovery, a recovery revolution.
Peace out.